my dad was into dirt bikes, my granddad was into dirt bikes, so I guess me and my brother, I got an older brother, he's a couple of years older than me, so once, I guess, as soon as we could walk, and my dad bought my brother a bike, so I think when I was in prep, I got my first bike, and I think back when I was, back in those days, you could race when you were 5 years old, but now I think it's changed now.
Okay.
I think you have to be like maybe 7 or 8, I'm not sure. But yeah, we could, I got my MA license, which is Motorcycle Australia license, when I was 5, and started racing at the Hallam Motocross track.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. It was nice and local for us. So started riding bikes, racing, and then mum and dad put so much effort into the dirt bike scene for me and my brother. We were very spoiled, so I was very thankful still for that.
It's an expensive sport, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very expensive sport, yeah. Like, you got to dedicate your life. Like, my parents dedicated a lot.
Yeah.
Like they worked their asses off, and then for us to have a hobby,
Were you playing other sports too at that age?
We played. My dad was a good football player as well, so we sort of played a bit of football.
Yep.
Who
for?
Moscow Park. We used to live in Endeavour Hills at this stage. So I sort of went to primary school in Dandenong North.
Yep.
And then we sort of moved to Endeavour Hills, to a little bit of land. Then we sort of moved to down this way in Pearcedale. We
just slowly moved up and up. Yeah. More and more land.
So that's how it all started. So we sort of played football. My brother was a really good footballer. But we got to that point where to be able to have two hobbies is hard work, because there was racing every weekend, there was football every weekend, so we had to pick and choose. I was 100% motorbikes the whole way. I was just playing football, which I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't know where Dad's like, you're playing the wing. I'm like, where the fuck's the wing? I had no idea what I was doing out there.
Just chase that footy, mate.
Yeah. See, Mick was different to me. He was pretty good at riding dirt bikes, but he was a really good football player.
Right.
He got to the Dandenong Stingrays, and he got to a point where he's like, his mum and dad said one or the other, so he chose dirt bikes.
Okay.
Which I think he regrets now, because he probably could have made it.
I reckon your parents' bank account was happy about that decision, though. Yeah.
So I decided we started to go down the dirt bike track, and we sort of raced every weekend, travelled the countryside. We went to New Zealand, Indonesia.
Wow.
Or when I was a 13-year-old, just racing, and then sort of that there led to Supercross, which is more my style. Motocross is, just hard work, long races, where Supercross is more short races, jumps in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
And that's where I sort of went from that to doing tricks, performing tricks for the crowd.
Yeah.
Sponsors were happy with that.
Yep.
I started to make money doing that, and that's where the freestyle thing.
So did you start doing a few tricks in races or something, or did you?
Yeah, just at halftime, like at the halftime intermission, we used to do like expressing session, they used to call it. Yeah. And the guy I used to look up to, John O'Porter, he was like my hero. And he motivated me I just wanted to be pretty much like John O'Porter.
Yeah. Right.
He was such a good Supercross racer and such good at performing, and he was so performing. It was so good in front of the crowd. Good speaking.
Entertainer.
Yeah, he was an entertainer. That's right. And unfortunately, Jono passed away. It was like 15 years ago, I think it was. I think it was only yesterday. I think it popped up on my Facebook memory. So yeah, it sucks that he passed away, but he motivated myself and Bilcoe to go from racing to freestyle, and
maybe explain a little bit who Bilcoe is too, because it's he's also a name like yourself that gets thrown around in this industry. We had obviously Simon, and he dropped both your names, and I'm thinking, I wonder if everyone knows who they both are. Yeah. But where's your relationship? Where does it come from? And he's still really close mates.
Yeah, me and Bilcoe are very close mates. We talk on a daily basis. He's based in America now, so but. It all started, I guess, racing. We used to race, back when we were like juniors going to the seniors. He lives in Baxter. Yep. And I was just sort of grew up in Pearcedale, so we sort of always hanged out at the track, and we sort of just started riding, practicing together. And same thing, Jono was like such a huge motivation for us, so we sort of wanted to be like him. Yeah. And Jono helped us, to start doing freestyle. Was there a friendly competition between you two? There wasn't at the start, but then once we started competing, that's when it got yeah. But that's all part of the fun of it, and so me and Bilco just hanged out, raced, and we sort of just side by side we started doing shows together, and the Monster Truck demos, Supercross halftime demos, Crusty Tour, Nitro Circus, X Games. That's all. So he was a tiny bit better than me at freestyle and stuff, but we sort of just went and followed each other's footsteps.
What was that big move that he did when he was hanging from the Like he was,
Cliffhanger
the
backflip.
Cliffhanger, mate. You want to see this?
I don't know if there's a photo. No, I think it's in my office.
It's insane. It was on posters everywhere, I remember, at one stage.
Yeah.
That
was his tricky. He invented the Cliffhanger backflip. We learned that in the foam pit.
Yeah, gosh.
Together, but he's killed it.
That's great. Oh, well, you also mentioned too, like, making money and sponsorship quite early on. So what age do you remember, like, do you remember your first deal and what that looked like and what that enabled you to actually do?
Yeah, so I'm tipping sponsorship-wise, I think we signed up with me and Bilcoe had a race team, so we were racing Supercross and doing freestyle demonstrations, and Honda and Alpine Stars jumped on board. That was our first paying sponsor.
Yeah, cool.
To be able to get bikes and to get paid off a manufacturer, that was.
And you would have been what, in your 20s?
Yeah, would have been like early 20s.
Yeah.
Yep. 21. Yeah, it would have been 20, 21.
Amazing.
What were you doing at the time, like, for work, for money?
So I left school end of year 9, and my dad was a plumber, so I did my plumbing apprenticeship. I didn't quite finish it. I did like 3 years.
Sure.
Because my parents split.
Okay.
So I left school about 15. So my parents split when I was about 17, 18.
Yep.
And then so when they split, that's when I sort of decided to go down the freestyle motocross path, because Dad was all about racing.
Yeah.
You know, you put all his time and money into us boys.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the slackers and start doing tricks and being a show pony. But when Mum and Dad split, I sort of did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's when I started doing tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's where the sponsors picked me up, like Honda and Alpine Stars, and that's when I first started.
And then is it when you get that sponsor, that's when maybe opportunities just start coming in a little bit? Like,
yeah, I guess so. You get a bit of
opportunities
confidence,
at events, confidence.
There's you've got a few big brands like Alpine Stars and Honda backing you, then your name's going to get out there and people are going to start recognising who you are. So we went from there to that's when we started doing backflips on mini bikes. This is where our sort of careers kicked off, all because of mini bikes. We started, me and Bilcoe bought a couple of CRO50s, started doing backflips in the foam pits and piles of hay. And the Crusty Demons show came to Melbourne and they needed some mini bike riders. So me and Bilcoe jumped on board on the Crust Tour and I crashed my brains out. Bilcoe landed his backflips, I landed on my head, but they loved that.
Yeah.
And because of that, we sort of, the following year we rode our big bikes. Because we got a name riding mini bikes, when they were looking for a couple of Australian guys to ride the big bikes, they called us up and that's when it all kicked off.
I love hearing that, because it just speaks truth around, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah,
you've created some brand based on, entertainment in the mini bikes. All of a sudden they think of the first two Australians and they just go straight to them.
Yeah, that's it.
Literally it is that.
And that time period, just thinking back, like we'll looking on YouTube and watching a bit of your stuff on MTV back in the day.
Yeah.
And that whole, like, that MTV period where you've got like Jackass and all this sort of focus on stunts.
Pimp My Ride, remember that? Pimp My Ride.
Yeah.
All that, like, that industry is really kicking off.
I know.
It would have been a perfect time for you guys to.
It was, like, me and Bilcoe still speak about it. We were like we started doing freestyle right at the right time. It wasn't, the sport wasn't too gnarly. People doing backflips were like doing a straight backflip back in those days was gnarly. So you think about it now, for a 20-year-old kid to get into the freestyle scene, it's fucking be such hard work. You got to be able to do double flips, body varials, front flips. Where for me and Bilcoe, we just had to do a backflip, and you're like, if you could do a backflip back then, you're like one of the best.
Pioneer.
Yeah, exactly right. So we joined the freestyle industry right at the right time.
Yeah.
Where we did a flip, Krusty picked us up, and then from then on, just sort of smooth sailing, I guess.
So to do the flips, are you practicing in a foam pit, or is it?
Oh, so me and Bilcoe, we were together again. His old man was real strict about him racing as well. Oh. His old man wouldn't let him do a backflip. So we loaded my bike up one day. My parents split, so I could do what I want in a way, So I loaded
the pleasures of divorce.
Loaded my bike up. Yeah. I didn't tell my parents, but loaded the bike up, and we went out to this place in South Marine, the go-kart track out there, and they had this ramp set up, and we got a bunch of hay bales, cut open all the hay, made it nice and soft.
That's hilarious.
But prior to that, we obviously learned on BMX in the water, and
then
our mini bikes to dirt, and then it wasn't long after John O'Porter passed away. And he was the first Aussie to do a backflip.
Yeah, wow.
So he sort of motivated us to do that too. And we went at South Marine, and just Bilcoe crashed his first one, landed his second one. And then I jumped on my bike, and Bilcoe said, just commit, hold on, pull back, and I landed my one. Sweet. Got on video. That's when we sent it to Krusty. And they said, sweet.
I was going to ask, in that time period, did you have to make any phone calls, like, live from the hospital, to Bilco's parents saying, look, we're out in South Morang, we've got a broken arm.
When you're that young, you don't think of that.
Exactly.
You don't have right now, I do, 100%. It's like work and, kids and stuff. But back when you're 20, I would have been like 22 or 21. Bilko would have been 21-ish, so... Back in those days, you don't think about getting hurt.
No.
You just think about how fucking cool is this going to be? Playing a flip.
Yeah.
And everyone had their video cameras out.
Was the quality good on the video
It
cameras?
was actually pretty cool. I should try to find it for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But we straight away ran the athlete manager for Krusty. He's like, sweet, we need some Aussie backflippers. You guys are on.
Yeah.
Love it.
So tell us about Krusty then. So that phone call happens.
Yep.
And what kind of goes from there?
Yeah, so the big Krusty tour started off. We I think we had the Oz tour, and we shit in our pants. I mean, Bilko Young, Deegan, Ronnie Fias, Twitch, all those guys, riding with all our heroes.
Yeah, wow.
And we still had the flip. I was still sketchy as shit. I think me flipping back then was a fluke. We had no time to perfect it. In a foam pit, you jump, you do a couple of flips, you flip, you over-rotate, you under-rotate, where the only way we could do it was just fucking flip and hold on.
Yeah.
So we couldn't figure out the techniques of it.
Mm.
So when it came to the Krusty tour, we just had to reef on the ramp and hold on and do the best.
Yeah.
It was pretty sketchy. Like, to think back now, we were young and dumb and didn't really give a shit.
But if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be where you are now,
exactly though. Right. Exactly. If I didn't risk my life back then, I wouldn't be where I am now and have achieved what I've achieved. So,
what was it like in those days of touring around with those guys? Like, even just outside of the show, were you two the babies of it? Like,
yeah, big time. They were like the rock stars. They were full rock stars, and there's parties. And me and Bilko, I was still young, like 22, and traveling with a big group like that.
Yeah,
it's pretty intense. But we sort of weased our way in there and created a good friendship with them all. Now we're good mates,
How good's that?
And Brian, and just like they've helped out me and Bilko out a lot with our careers. So.
Yeah, cool.
Skipped a few lines at the nightclubs,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was it. That was the fun part of it.
Yeah, I
bet.
bet.
Hotel parties. Yeah, that's just like it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, of course. Did you live in America at all?
Yeah, so I from 2008 onwards, I used to go over there as soon as it started pissing down rain here and you couldn't practice here, I had to keep riding because I was competing a lot.
Yep.
So I moved to America, and me and Bilko got a house together.
Wow.
Which part of America was this?
Temecula, in California, Southern California.
Nice.
So Bilko, we sort of the first in 2008, me and my wife, or my partner at the time, went over there. Me and Bilko just rented a house over there for 3 months, and then every sort of year after that, we went back over there. And Bilko bought a house, so I sort of rented a room off him.
I got to say, it sounds a bit like Dawson D.
Yeah.
We leave our parents and we go and move in a house,
yeah.
leave our girlfriends, focus on a podcast, much smaller level to Cam and Bilko.
Become all stars, boys.
That's it. No money behind us. Yeah,
that's it. That's exactly right. I had no money at all. We went to America and
that's
had
amazing.
matches for rent, and that's when I sort of that's when the double backflip sort of popped up.
Yeah.
After being on tour and seeing Scott Murray come over and do it, and I thought if he can do it, then I might as well try to make it work and. Started doing double flips. That's when Rockstar picked me up.